do not go into Velvet Buzzsaw expecting a horror movie. I know a lot of people that watch Netflix are still riding off that Bird Box high that they got around Christmas time. And you probably watched this trailer and was like, hey, Netflix, they're starting to put out some really cool and scary horror movies. I can't wait for Velvet Buzzsaw. You know, that's what you're expecting. You'll be greatly disappointed. This is strictly a satire of the art world and the art exhibit world, and sort of a statement on the critic versus the artist and the art versus the artist. And yeah, if you're going and expecting just to be scared, you're going to be disappointed. Now, me personally, I expected these things that I was talking about. I really liked the last outing between Dan Gilroy and Jake Gyllenhaal, which was Nightcrawler. That was one of my favorite movies of 2014. So I didn't expect to walk into this to be scared. I expected a smart commentary on the things that the movie is discussing. But what I got was a little different. I'm not even necessarily sure if I like the movie. I've seen a lot of comparisons to this and Black Mirror, like this is an extended episode of Black Mirror, and I kind of disagree. But Black Mirror episodes kind of make me feel like crap, in a good way. They raise nice social commentary about the future and current state of technology in a way that feels very relevant. Now this felt more like an extended episode of Tales from the Crypt, and I say that because it's kind of goofy. It has a goofy tone on purpose, I think. This is totally on purpose and not by accident. It's not like so bad that it's good or anything. But yeah, I think that is the purpose of the tone. And it reminded me of Tales from the Crypt more so than Black Mirror. Even to the point where like the main like musical theme of the movie kind of reminds me of something from Tales from the Crypt. And I think that the tone alone is going to throw people off. And another thing is that Jake Gyllenhaal's character in this, it reminds me a lot of his character, not necessarily in just the way that the performance is, but just how bombastic and over the top it is. It reminds me of a character in his movie that he did a couple years ago on Netflix called Okja, which was another character that I could not figure out if it was a good performance or a bad performance. And I feel the same way here, but I'll give him this. I think he's given it his all, and it looks like he's having a blast. I just think overall Buzzsaw, it's not as smart as maybe it thinks it is, and I hate to say that because it makes me part of the problem, because the movie is sort of critiquing people like me and people that critique movies and art in general. But if you're gonna try to make a statement about that, be really smart, and the movie is just not. I do think there's some interesting moments of suspense here, and two particular kills I felt were pretty intense and not overly violent, but enough to get the point across. But ultimately, I think even the way that this movie is filmed feels like a TV movie or something made for Tales from the Crypt. I don't even think it's visually as interesting as something from Black Mirror. The cinematography is sort of flat, and that may be what they're going for, but it just felt cheap, especially compared to Nightcrawler by Dan Gilroy, which felt so cinematic. It felt like one of the best filmed and produced movies of that year. So overall, I'm pretty disappointed in Buzzsaw. I think it has some pretty fine performances across the board. I just think the thing that it's trying to get across to its audience, it's not doing that great of a job. It just kind of falls flat in the end. I still recommend watching it because it's on Netflix. You can just turn on anytime. But definitely disappointed. Glad this wasn't a theatrical release, because I probably would be way harsher on it. Similar to like Bird Box, I would have been way harsher on that if it was a theatrical release, but it is just a Netflix release, and it's a decent time passer. I'm going to give this movie a C+. I hate to say that. I wanted to be able to give this like an A or an A- at least, considering that. Yet again, Nightcrawler, it's clearly an A+ movie, and this is just not that. So I'd say check your expectations at the door. It's not amazing. It's decent at best. So how did you feel about Velvet Buzzsaw? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you feel mixed about it, sort of like me? Leave your comments below, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching.